Welcome, Thumpers, to another trailer reaction from Hyper RPG. I don't know if I'm going to live through this. This might be a little terrifying. I'm Adam Havoc, and I'm joined here with Cameron Rice.
Hello. Ready for some spookiness?
And Dustin Butler.
I love a good scare.
We are doing a trailer reaction for the remake of It.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Is it a remake, reboot?
This is my thing. Is it a remake if the
That's
original
true.
thing was
It's
a
a series.
television
Right.
miniseries?
That's true. You got a fair point, Cameron. Fair point.
I mean,
Also-
I know it's a big deal. I know people love it. I think, debatably, I think even if maybe you have the VHS, it might have a rating on it. It might have been submitted for a rating. But if it was on ABC and had commercial breaks, is this a
That's
remake?
I haven't seen the original.
Ooh.
But I love Cary Fukunaga's work. He's a executive producer on this feature. He
Yeah.
was slated to originally write and
sure
direct
was.
this feature until I forget what took him away from this, but he stayed on as a producer.
The old creative differences.
Was it creative?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay,
Mhm.
I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to commit to that. So, there's a little bit left of him from what I've read in this project. So it's interesting that there's a small imprint of his DNA on this movie.
Yeah, so it's originally going to be 2 films with him. So for those of you who don't
Oh, that's right.
have never read Stephen King's It. First of all, great book. It's long, 1,300 pages. I've read it 2 times.
Damn,
it's
some commitment, my friend.
it's a wonderful book. I was somebody who saw the miniseries as a kid, and Tim Curry's performance was scarring. I have the Blu-ray now, so don't be surprised if sometime in the near future we do it for our commentary show. We probably will. I'll have to split it into 2 though, because it's 3 hours and that chunky. But the book, the whole premise of the book is that it jumps back and forth between them being kids and adults. If you've never seen the miniseries, well, what Fukunaga was going to do was split it into 2 movies: kids, adults, and that was going to be it. And it was going to be I think $30 million for the first one,
Okay.
just the first one. And Warner Brothers got cold feet. They were like,
I could see that.
what's the guarantee this R-rated clown movie will make a bunch of money? And so they went back and forth. He also wanted to film in New York, from what I understand, which is not cheap for those of you who don't know about filming. So he left the project over creative differences. They brought on the director who's taking over now, the guy who did Mama, with Jessica Chastain. And as of right now, it seems to only be the 1 film. There are no adults cast to take over those children roles.
I'm gonna commit to this right now, but I'm pretty sure the director has said there's the option to do the adult version.
There is the option if this does well, which this might be what we're talking about before jumping into the trailer itself. This trailer broke a record.
It did.
So Warner Brothers might have really fucked up by not letting him make the 2 movies.
Oh my God, can you imagine a Cary Fukunaga? Although I don't know, this director, I'm gonna give him the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Cary Fukunaga, it will go down as one of the great unmade movies.
Right.
Probably people talk about it, even if
That
this ends up
script
being
leaked
great.
just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I want to read it so
I
bad.
read it so bad. If anyone has the script link, please send it.
To either all 3 of us. But there's the thing is that this trailer broke the 24-hour record
Wow.
for trailers watched on trailer watch on YouTube. So to put that in prospect
For an R-rated movie or just in general?
in general.
In
So
general.
let's put that
In
let's
general.
put that in perspective. This took down, and I don't think it was the king at the time, but this got more watches in 24 hours than any of the Force Awakens trailers did.
Fuck.
So, and I think there's a couple of things at play with that, possibly. Slash Film did a great article about this, about how nostalgia, we are now in 90s nostalgia. We're getting Power Rangers and all these kinds of things. This was a 1990 miniseries. The book, when it came out in 1986, 87, was the #1 book of the year.
Wow.
So it was huge. Tim Curry's influence on that character is huge for a lot of people. For a TV miniseries, you often will see his portrayal of Pennywise the Clown on fan-made art posters with Freddy Krueger and Texas Chainsaw and all these kinds of things. You see Pennywise the Clown. So I understand Warner Brothers' hesitation. At the same time, they must have been shocked that
probably.
this trailer
They had to have
did
blown
what
away.
it did.
I kind of feel like that's kind of the thing with Warner Brothers. I mean, we've talked about a lot of their movies, but another movie that I like to mention is Creed. Creed was a movie that had really great trailers, but was not pushed out as hard as it could have been, especially when it came time for award season. It wasn't thrown out there for consideration for a lot of things, and it should have been. So I feel like Warner Brothers as a studio, maybe they are a little more.
I think it's worth saying. I guess this is New Line, who's a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. In terms of it, the original miniseries, I honestly have not been able to go back and rewatch it. I've seen it in bits and pieces as a kid, and fucking Pennywise scared me too much, man. It was tough. It was really tough for me to go back and rewatch this whole thing. But if we do an audio commentary on the miniseries, I will be there and I will watch the whole thing.
Oh boy, we might have to split it into two.
We might. All right, here we go. Official teaser trailer for It. Vaya con Dios.
There you go. She's all ready, Captain.
Thanks, Billy.
So far, one difference: Bill does not seem to be stuttering. Bill was a huge stutterer in both the book and the original.
Ay, shit.
We've all been there, buddy.
Nope.
Let it go, Georgie. Just let it go.
Don't do this.
It wasn't that great. It was a paper boat. You got paper. This isn't the Depression.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
There's not like any time I've ever been in before. People die or disappear 6 times the national average. And that's just
Cool.
grown-ups. Kids are worse. Way worse.
Oh.
We all float down here.
I saw something. There was this.
Clown.
I love it.
Oh, this is good.
It's all connected by.
Now, this is a nice little change up from the novel. Because in the novel and the original series, it's a photo book.
Oh.
This is
So this takes place in the
shit.
80s, not the 50s, like
Right.
the novel does.
Well, 80s is the perfect setting.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Don't like this. No. Oh.
Oh, my God. That was a great moment. What the fuck?
That's going to be blood in the movie, I promise you. That is not going to be mud.
Someone tweeted it out too. I read that
You'll
from
float
Twitter.
too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Oh my God.
You'll float too.
Run away.
You'll float too.
Oh, God, Lord. No. You fuckers. Oh.
I can't wait.
Oh. That looks outstanding.
Yeah.
Very promising.
very promising. Very moody.
I'm not going near a sewer again.
Yeah,
It's very disturbing the way they shot him going like back and forth like that.
that kind of like removing a frame kind of thing.
Yeah.
I hope that's not a trailer effect.
I hope so. I hope it's not either. Yeah.
It's very interesting. So the actor playing this is the younger Skarsgård,
Uh-huh.
who I think is only like 28 or 29. Is playing Pennywise.
Is
Bill Skarsgård?
Skarsgård?
Yeah. So and he's going to be in another trailer we're about to watch, Atomic Blonde, I believe. He's in. I think he's also in that. So yeah, very very interesting. I'm excited about this. I'm cautiously optimistic. A lot of it looks really great. I love the little changes they are making, like having the I don't know what that's actually called. Top of my
Projector?
head. Yeah, the projector with the photos as opposed to having it be
slide projector.
The slide projector is such a good. play.
That's terrifying. To be there and just click through, and all of a sudden like. Tick, 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 tick,
But it
tick,
takes
tick,
over. But it also
It's
is
like
great
stop
because
motion.
it's stop motion.
tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very cool. I'm very interested to see too. Like, do they update or adapt any of the ways that Pennywise the Clown tries to scare the kids? So I guess maybe as we're talking about Birth Movies Death, did a great article breaking down the Cary Fukunaga version, and in the book, the Pennywise Clown is also a shapeshifter and changes into like the Universal monsters to scare the kids, because in the 50s those were huge movies, so the
Right.
kids go see them. And so I guess what Fukunaga did in his script was made those things more personal. Like, they weren't mummies and monsters and things like that. They were like the kids' parents
Yeah.
or little things like that. Whether this version of
So
that
it's super psychological.
maintains
Yeah.
that, or is like, nope, let's just bring in monsters, which is fine if they do
Well,
that.
at the end of this trailer, you see the kid you see the kid that looks like he's possessed.
Oh yeah.
Could that probably potentially be a manifestation of Pennywise?
The Return of Georgie? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
it is.
It could totally be that. Yeah.
That's
There's
pretty
also
terrifying.
that weird shot of the one kid looking at like that door in the back of that building.
Yeah, with all the hands coming out of it.
Was that in the book?
Yes, I think he's being attacked by, I think it's zombies or something like that,
What
because they
the
just
hell?
seem like, I think Night of the Living Dead, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's something like that. So like that's the thing about what Pennywise is able to do is he also becomes your worst fear. I'm very interested to see how they handle the bullies in this film, because the bullies are a huge part of the book, both especially for the kids, but then that character returns as I'm so fascinated to see how they end this movie and make it feel like a proper conclusion.
Yeah.
Because so much of that book is about the adults, and so much of that story is about returning to childhood trauma and things of that nature. And so I'm optimistic, but I do wonder how are they going to be able to get across just showing the childhood trauma and not the part of the story that's about confronting it
Yeah.
and trying to beat it. There's also a very famous thing that happens in the book, if you've read the book, that happens between the kids that I doubt is going to be in this movie. It's very sexual in nature,
Really?
and I highly doubt.
So interesting.
It's
totally not gonna be in there.
It's totally not going to be in there, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, just visually looking at this movie, like there are some things that I see that I recognize from the original miniseries, like him running down the street, obviously with a little paper boat going down the sewer drain.
Yeah.
But it takes place in the 80s, which I think is very appropriate. I think when we think about classic horror, people from our generation, we think of things like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. We think of the 80s. So I think in that regard, I think it's perfect that they set that movie in the 80s. It's funny to see this kid from Stranger Things is in it, obviously. Well, obviously, it also takes place in the 80s. So I think they kind of have that going for them. I think maybe I don't want to say they're baking off of Stranger Things, because this obviously was being made already prior to that.
Sure.
But
It doesn't hurt.
yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Sure.
It doesn't hurt. I think people like us will really appreciate it, because there's a lot of horror movies from the 80s that I'm sure we all really love.
Right.
So visually, I think it's very striking. It's very terrifying, and I think it's hopefully going to do what it sets out to do.
Yeah, what I liked probably the most from that trailer was the cinematography. Was very like
really
new
nice.
cinema, classic cinema,
Yeah.
like a lot of traditional camera movement, like on those dollies, those camera stop. I mean,
It
those-
doesn't feel
those
like
shots on the sticks.
It doesn't feel digital,
Right.
being
It
both
doesn't
in how the film looks and CGI wise.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel digital. It feels like it's just gonna feel like an emblem type movie, hopefully in the first few, acts or so, in the first part of that first act, and then it's gonna get a little bit more distorted until it's full on third act fucked up.
Right. Especially in that last shot when you see Pennywise going back and forth. They could have done crazy digital type of a shot, but no, the camera looks locked off, and it's just the
Yep.
performance. And that's, to me, that's the most terrifying thing, because as the audience, it makes you feel like you can't
Yeah.
move, like you're stuck.
I also
that's scary.
Yeah, and I dug the kids' reactions in that slide projector shot.
Yeah.
They
fuck.
Yeah.
they were great. Like there was that one quick cutaway where the one child was just like, turn it off,
The
turn
girl.
it off,
The
like
one
cut
girl,
it off,
yeah,
cut it
yeah.
off. Like,
Yeah.
Beverly? Yeah, Beverly.
oh my god.
This is also it's
I'm
worth
on
talking about. I
board.
guess like we are living in a Stephen King year, man. It is like we have It, Dark Tower,
Yeah.
The Mist trailer for the TV series. The Mist just premiered
USA.
yesterday. And Castle Rock, which is going to be the television series on Hulu,
Yep.
which also
Wow.
featured Pennywise and all these
Also,
other kinds of like
just
things.
in terms of horror, we're on track to having a fantastic year. Like,
Yeah.
what was that A24 horror feature from the director of that South by movie?
Oh, yeah,
what is that movie called? Shit.
Oh.
Anyways, it's called It Comes at
It Comes at Night,
Night,
which
that's
looks amazing.
right.
and then
That
Get Out.
looked awesome.
Get Out let off 2017 with an
Right.
outstanding
Totally.
movie.
Well, I think we're seeing now the jump of like what's been happening in the last like 3 or 4 years with horror, where you have like It Follows, Mama, these kind of like
Conjuring.
The Conjuring, like
Yeah.
these kind of like low budget artistic small horror films that feel like very smart and thought out and very filmic. People who like owe a lot to John Carpenter, a lot of synth score and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
think like this is kind of the culmination of that. Like all these fans of 80s
Yep.
horror things are now getting big budgets to go make bigger
Yeah.
things, as opposed to like, here's $2 million
Yeah.
to make a John Carpenter riff.
Right.
It's
right,
like,
right,
here's
right.
$30 million, go make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I really dig is like Get Out was so unique, and
Yeah.
It Comes at Night from the trailer looks so unique.
That's one of my favorite
Totally,
posters of the year.
Oh,
And
the
I-
poster is amazing.
I also
So
think
simple.
that like even Stranger Things has kind of an influence because
Mhm.
people saw that and they
oh
went,
yeah,
oh man, this is like 80s cinema. This is Carpenter, Spielberg, all these amazing filmmakers and all this stuff. So I think
And very king.
totally. Oh yeah,
Very-
very,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think now studios and producers and all this kind of stuff, they kind of want to bank on that. They see that success. They're like, let's try to do this. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm excited. Horror. I really dig horror.
Yeah, I love horror.
I'm super excited at these movies that are getting. They're not going for like that typical horror kind of.
Well, there's a lot of like, what's great is a lot of R-rated horror.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what's fun is like there was a time when I was in high school in
It's
the
all
early
PG-13.
2000s, a lot of PG-13 remakes
Yeah.
Yeah.
that just like were kind of just there and blah. You had at the same time the Saws and stuff like that, which were
Yeah.
coming out with these hardcore R-rated movies. But for the most part, the genre of horror was PG-13 remakes, and I feel like we've gotten back to like $5 million R-rated. Like we had like Shyamalan's last two movies,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
which were like pretty violent, but like R-rated and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like it
If
feels
you're
like
gonna do
horror's back in a
if
cool
you're gonna
way.
do horror, make me fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
I
that's what
agree.
I
I
want.
agree.
I don't want to go to a horror movie and like, I mean, it's fine to have moments of levity and have comedic moments, but I don't want to be spending most of the time being like, oh, that's cute, that's hilarious. Blah, blah. I want to go in there like, that is fucked up, and like, it doesn't have to be so fucked up it's grotesque, but I like psychological
Right.
stuff.
And yep.
Stuff that fucks with my mind. I want to walk out there and be like, I'm afraid to go down there.
That's what I like about this trailer, and that's what I've liked about the horror I've seen in the past, like
Yeah.
the later half of 2016 and so
Mhm.
far of
Yeah.
2017. Is it's got that psychological intensity, and then it also has that gore element, but the gore's like it's like a side
It's
payoff.
secondary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's used to like have a story and emotional
Yes.
effect.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason why the gore has the impact is because I'm already invested in the character and their psychological
Right.
state. So
Right.
it,
Again,
it
look-
hurts more.
Look at Carpenter's original Halloween. There is barely any blood in that movie.
I don't think there's any blood.
I don't
in
think
that
there's
movie.
any, really. You go to Rob Zombies, it's blood everywhere.
Everywhere.
And like that's the biggest difference is like the movie built up intensity for me. And
Mhm.
it caused me to have it caused psychological things to happen in my mind where my mind will play tricks on me. That I think is the real genius of horror is when you can convince an audience member to play their own like mind games on themselves.
It's whenever you're kind of transported back to that childhood state where anything
Yeah.
is possible. And
Yeah.
if a horror film can put me in that space, I am
Great.
so on board.
Great. Absolutely. But guys, let us know in the comments below what you thought about this teaser trailer for It. Did it scare the shitballs out of you? What are you looking forward to seeing? What are you hoping that they bring over from the miniseries? Or what are some things that you think or hope maybe they leave out? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe here, youtube.com/hyperrpg. Check out all our live programming on twitch.tv/hyperrpg. Cameron, where can everybody find you?
Find me on Twitter, Instagram, all those things at Jurassic Alien.
Dustin.
You can find me on Twitter at Dustin K. Butler.
And you can just find me at Adam Hlavik. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll scare you in the next video.
Oh!